Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Policino. Welcome to another episode of The Real World of Real Estate. Today, we're going to talk about the easiest newsletter, real estate newsletter on the planet. So let's check out the intro and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. My name is Sean Policino again, and thank you for joining me today for another episode of The Real World of Real Estate, where we talk about all things real estate that are real, not things that I'm not trying to sell you something that you won't use or that doesn't do what it says. Like, I can't tell you how many phone calls I get, how many each day. I get probably 3 to 5 phone calls trying to sell me leads or marketing or let me create, let me maximize or optimize your website so that you get leads. A lot of these things are money grabs. They're not real. Okay, so this is about real world. These are strategies, tools that I use in my real estate business. Okay, I've been doing this 16 years as a real estate agent. I have a real estate team. There's 9 of us on the team. We're in multiple different states. These strategies works. They work. The tips and the tricks and the things that I'm sharing with you, they're what we're actually using. Okay, now I'm with eXp Realty, and some of the tools that I'm using are not part of part of what we get at the brokerage, but they're tools that I've learned outside that work really well, and I've streamlined them so that the whole team can use them. So if you're an individual agent or a team and you're trying to come up with a solution here on the newsletter, this is the perfect solution. Okay, so I'm going to go over with you a couple tools that I use. One is Mailchimp. One is a company called fastnewsletter.com. And you can create monthly digital emails or digital email newsletters or print newsletters using this system. And you don't have to go out and find all the content. Now you can tweak it and put your own touch on it, whatever you'd like to do. Or you can just use the content they give you. You can do multiple newsletters per month if you wanted to, or one newsletter a month. But I'm going to kind of break it down for you in 6 easy steps. Okay, and the first one is why should you send a monthly marketing piece like a newsletter? It doesn't have to be a newsletter. I for a long time would send just an email that was a plain text email that had a funny monthly theme. For example, May was Cinco de Mayo and how to make, I send a recipe on how to make the best salsa. Another one, or guacamole, or another one like for February is Super Bowl trivia, because every February is the Super Bowl. They're not real estate specific, but they are, getting an email from me. And to be honest with you, I didn't get a lot of response from these types of emails. So I've always wanted to come up with a newsletter, but it was very daunting. How do I come up with the content, the design of it? And it wasn't until finding fastnewsletter.com that I found the solution that works really well for my business and for somebody like me who's not very creative. And I don't spend a lot of time creating the content. Now I do have somebody on my team. His name is Will, who loves to spend time, and he's willing to put 3, 4, 5 hours into designing the newsletter. So this works well for people that want to be given content and then want to tweak it and use it or don't use the content, or basically they don't want to have to create the content at all. They just want to use the content that fastnewsletter.com provides you. Either way works perfectly. Okay. But here's the real reason why you want to do a monthly newsletter. Gary Keller wrote a famous book called The Millionaire Real Estate back in the 80s. I hear that he's rewriting it and that we're going to be getting a new release of it called Millionaire Real Estate 2.0, which is going to have things like the internet instead of a pager and things that are modern today. But based upon his research, what he did back in the 80s, he created a model for real estate. It's the only one of its kind that I'm aware of. And in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he interviews agents that do at least 70 million or more. And this is the top 200 agents back in the 80s At that time, there were agents from Remax, Century 21, all the different brokerages, small brokerages, major brokerages. He interviewed these agents, the top 200 in the country, and the bottom rung was about 70 million in volume, which is a lot of volume. You know, on the team here, we do about maybe 30 million, 35 million in volume. I personally do about 10 to 12 million in volume of that 30 million. But there's the bottom rung agent was doing 70 million. So that just tells you what types of agents these are. Now, when Gary researched these agents and looked at all of their business, how many times they were emailing, how many times were they doing print, were they doing, now back then emails didn't really exist. We're going to see in the new revision of the book how email has impacted things, but they were doing direct mail and phone calls and at what frequency and all the different things that these agents were doing. Gary came up with a ratio, and the ratio is 50-1. And the reason you need to do some sort of marketing, whether it's print marketing monthly or email marketing monthly, is because for every 50 people you have in a group of haven't mets, you should see one transaction come out of those 50 people. So if you have 500 people, you divide that by 50, and that's how many pieces of business you should get out of that group if you properly saturate the minds of those people. And it may take you a year or two to properly saturate them, but the way you saturate them is an email once a month, a text once every 3 months, once every quarter, a phone call from you once every quarter, a market update, which is a website that shows what the property value is where they live. If you don't have that, maybe you're sending them a property alert with some actual properties that they might be interested in. There's a saying in marketing: give them what they want, not what they need. We know that they need a real estate agent like us, but that's not what they want. What they want is they want to see properties, they want to see market updates, and they want to see the content that's in a newsletter. That's why a newsletter should get a better open rate than just a regular plain text email, which is why I wanted to gravitate towards a newsletter. Now, finding the combination of the newsletter was the tough part for me. I found a company called fastnewsletter.com. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick with you so I can show you their website. Let me just move this over here. Okay. And so fastnewsletter.com, here it is, fastnewsletters.com. It's a client retention system. It's a lead follow-up system. You can even use it for your geographic farm. Okay, it's either print or email, and it's affordable. They have different pricing programs. You can use the one I do, which is $85 a month, which isn't even listed here, but $85 a month, and they actually create the content for me. They import it and they actually send it out. So for $85 a month, I don't have to do anything. But if you want to do just leads, friends, and you could pick one of these where they're going to actually give you the content, put it into a template, and then it's up to you to take that template and either import it into your CRM or put it into a platform like Mailchimp. Okay, Mailchimp is the email platform. If you don't use a CRM, which is a whole nother video of why you should use a CRM, then you could just use Mailchimp and not have a CRM. And that's where you're going to actually send the email from. Okay, you send this, sorry, shut that volume off there. So the fastnewsletter.com is where the email template is designed. And I'm going to email it, and then it gets emailed into, it gets put right into Mailchimp here. So we'll go ahead and start the editing from here. So now that I showed you where the content comes from, it comes from fastnewsletter.com. They import it right into Mailchimp. And it's in Mailchimp that you create your audience. You can see here, I've created an audience here, and I have a team. So this is the team newsletter. And then here is one of my team members. So they have their own list of about 11,000 people. and they have their own template, which I'll show you in a minute, called Will Scully Real Estate. And then here's the version for the team, which has a whole nother separate 12,000. So we're sending it out to over 25,000 people are getting our monthly newsletter. Now, if I come over here to campaigns, to email templates, you can see here that we have a master. So this is the one that Will is sending out. Okay, and he has his version with his name at the top, and he doesn't have the EXP header. He doesn't like that particular version, but he has gone through and edited this the way he likes it with the right content. He might even make a decision to change out some of the content. And I'll show you what came from fastnewsletter.com and the way it looked and how he edited his. And then down here, he has the team logo, he has his logo, and he has his footer is a little different than in the team. So, but you see here this button that says request evaluation. This is really important. If somebody wants to get a home valuation, they can click the button there. If they want to search properties, then up at the top here, you could put a search button. I'll show you how on the team version, we have a search button if they want to search real estate. You could put the button in the middle here if you wanted to, instead of having it down here at the bottom. How would you like evaluation of your home, a free evaluation? Okay, so let's go back over here to the other team version of the newsletter. I'm sorry, the other version which we email out, which you can see here, Sean. Click on that one here. And you can see this one looks a little different. It's got the team logo at the top. It's got my name. Now, if there was another team member, I would just put the team member's name here. And then on this particular version, we have the two buttons, view properties and request evaluation. We also have a graphic here with the whole team. Okay, and there's a few people that haven't been added yet to this graphic. And then down here, we have a graphic that we create for the team, which is their email signature, which we use that same graphic here in the footer of the newsletter. So it ties in to any emails that they're getting from the team members. Okay, and you can see Will is on this team as a team member as well. So it works really well. You can have different versions. I'll show you here the template that came directly from Fast Newsletter. Go over here. So here's the master version 2 that came through. And so this is what it looked like. Now, if you wanted to have some statistics here, we could have used this content. You can see the format is a little different. I basically let Will edit it, and then I just use his edits because I think he does a great job. But some of this content came, you can see here, which is a third version, basically. If I wanted to just send it just like this, let's say for some reason Will couldn't get to it or didn't make any edits, I could just go ahead and send it right like this. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So basically the template is created. Okay, and then you match it to the audience and you start what's called a campaign. So if you can see here, we'll go back to the one that we did in April. You can see here I had 971 opens, and it was this, I call it This Month in Real Estate, April, and 19 people clicked. Okay, down here is the social media. When you create in Mailchimp, you create a digital email newsletter. It also gives you a social post that you can then send to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And you can see here, actually, I didn't do Twitter last month. I did Facebook and Instagram. And out of that, that reached 81 people and 90 people. And I sent it to over 12,000. And there was 5 engagements with the newsletter. And you can see this month was an 8.5% open rate, where last month it was a 20% open rate. And this is the second month that I've done this. This is my third month. I'm sorry. I did it in March, did it in in April, and now again in May. Prior to that, I was doing the newsletter. I was doing just a plain text email with some click-throughs. And like I said, I wasn't really getting great success. So that is it pretty much in a nutshell. So let's go back over the strategies. Let me unshare my screen real fast. And let's talk about the 6 strategies basically. Why should you send a monthly targeted marketing piece like a plain text email or a newsletter? It's because you want to get that 50-to-1 ratio of your have it mets. It also creates top of mind awareness with the people, the leads that you have met and you are in communication with, as well as your sphere of influence. It's content that engages, so you get a higher open rate, you get a higher engagement, as you just saw in the numbers that I shared with you. Okay, so the second step is first figure out whether you want to do an email, it's just a plain text email monthly, or a newsletter. I'm a proponent of the newsletter. Second thing is, what is your marketing deadline? Come up with a deadline. For me, it's the 15th. As you can see, today is the 24th, and we just sent out